from a hot stock to a very hot topic. Major technology company executives meeting with President Obama behind closed doors over the controversies surrounding the NSA surveillance program and protecting your privacy. And let's bring in Fox News contributor Jedediah Bila and Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor Julie Roginsky. I always say it wrong.
You always say it. It's all right.
Roginsky. Thank you so
That's
much.
all right.
Good to see you both. Jedediah, don't worry, I'll butcher your name as well.
Right. It happens all the time.
Ladies, so a press conference this afternoon, but oh, the irony of a very private meeting behind closed doors with these technology executives. Why wouldn't you make it more public? Jedediah, to you first.
Well, I mean, I think he has his primary concern is to assure these executives that he is out to protect their rights and that he's not going to, the government, the Obama administration is not going to infringe on their privacy rights. As to why he didn't make it more public, I'm not really sure. I mean, it's out in the media. I read a lot of stories about it today. I don't know, from the guy who always trumpets transparency, we don't see that much transparency from him. So remains to be seen. And
you have been against this program. You're against it during the Bush administration. You're still against it now. Do you think it's hurting him? Because there was a recent Fox News poll where 69% of those polled thought the situation should be taken seriously, as opposed to 26% thought it was a phony
It should be taken seriously. No, you know, I think people sort of want to feel they want to be protected, right? People who survived 9/11. You and I have had this conversation before where we disagree. I happen to think, again, that this is an absolute travesty. I mean, this is a violation and infringement of our constitutional rights. And I have no problem with us doing what we need to do to prevent terrorism, but that's why we have courts, and that's why we have the FISA courts are actually a disgrace as well. We need to amend those too. But, you know, you can't start going and sifting through my email, your email, Jedediah's email without probable cause. I mean, to me, that is just a violation, and I get it. I mean, people are in jeopardy, and we're worried about terrorism, but at the same time, you know, 9/11 is not an excuse to then infringe upon our rights as Americans, and I feel like this is what's going on today.
And a lot of these civil liberties advocates were supporting Barack Obama. They came out 2008, 2012. They thought he was going to be their guy. He was going to protect privacy rights. A lot of young voters who care very deeply about these issues really thought they had an ally in the president and now feel betrayed, feel that they don't have an ally. Maybe they would have expected that in their minds from a Republican administration, but in their minds, Barack Obama was the guy who was not going to infringe on these rights. So I think he has a lot to answer for, and that's why he's doing these meetings, and he's sort of trying to defend himself and say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're not doing, your privacy is still protected.
Well, and it hurts the reputations of these companies as well, or it possibly could.
And their dealings with people overseas, absolutely.
Because, I mean, every time you Google something, or every time I have Gmail, so now everybody can email me, but every time I go on Google, essentially what you have is I type something in and all these little ads pop up related to what I'm typing. I can write you an email, and all of a sudden these ads pop up, and of course, all of that data mining is being mined to infringe our privacy.
That was the one reason I thought that this would not have the impact with the American people the way that some people might think. But it does dovetail with, I mean, the NSA program goes directly to Edward Snowden, which goes directly to our relationship with Russia, which goes to him canceling the meeting with Putin. And it looks, and he's getting ready to go off on vacation this coming weekend. Not going to fault him for that. Every president deserves a vacation, or more than one vacation. But what does he need to hit this afternoon? What is the biggest thing that he needs to drive home?
Well, you know, the problem is this. He's going to go and say whatever he needs to say to all these tech companies, and everybody's going to have a kumbaya moment, but nothing is going to change, because I think this president, and I suppose every president, they have data and briefings that we're not privy to, will say, look, I'd rather have people angry with me about violations of privacy than, God forbid, have another 9/11 happen on my watch. And so nothing's going to change. No matter what happens today, it's going to be the same thing. It's a disappointment to me, but that's...
But speaking of that, though, then we have all the terror alerts and the embassy closings overseas. To that point, a lot of people have said that the administration is giving away too much information about why they took these steps.
There are a lot of unanswered questions. I think the American people have questions about the IRS targeting political groups. They have questions about Benghazi. They have questions about what's going on with the NSA. They have questions about what Barack Obama's foreign policy really entails. What exactly are we doing with respect to these countries, with respect to Russia? What are we doing about Syria? So I think that the key right now is that Americans want answers. And from a president that said, I'm going to be open with you, I'm going to be transparent, now's the time to give the answers. Now's the time. If you're asked a direct question, tell us why you're doing what you're doing, and maybe people will be a little bit more forgiving.
A final thing, did he get any momentum? Did he get any pop at all from the the economy is better tour that he did, where he's talking about housing, which can come back to bite you in the you-know-what.
Not based on the polls. From what I'm seeing, people want Barack Obama to stop going around the country and talking about these issues and lock himself in a room and sit with Republicans and Democrats and focus on these issues. Tons of people have left the labor force. The economic numbers really aren't much to speak of. The unemployment number would be significantly higher if we didn't have all these people that have left the labor force. So I don't think people are satisfied, and I think that he's talked a lot about compromise. They're not really seeing it.
Final word.
Well, look, first of all, I love how Republicans can get Benghazi into any discussion. We could be talking about the Mars land.
Well,
but somehow Benghazi will come in. Well, you know,
in the Fox News poll, that was the one that got the highest rating about how you need to treat that seriously.
But here's the thing. You talk to Barack Obama's pollsters and not to polls, or you look at polls that are not necessarily biased polls, and what you see right now is that Barack Obama, despite having a rating below 50%, is still the most popular politician in the country. So, you know, you need to have somebody beating you at your own game before people can actually get you. And the problem for Republicans, I think, today is Congress is at 12%. He's at around 47, 48. All things being equal, he's in pretty good shape.
Julie Roginsky. I said it right, didn't I?
Nope.
Again, I said it wrong.
Every time. How long have we not known each other?
I'm just calling
like 10 years.
Julie R.
Julie R.
I'm an idiot. Good to see you, Jedediah.
Thank you so much.
Well.